Hi guys, I'm the Dow King, and are NFTs going to make a comeback or are they worthless? Like our good friends over at Rolling Stone says, your NFTs are actually finally totally worthless. Is that true or not? Well, let's dig into it a little bit deeper because this Rolling Stone's article is a little bit nuts. They're basically saying that a researcher finds that 95% of the once hyped crypto assets have hit rock bottom valuations, meaning 95% are basically worth nothing. There's no bids, there's no activity, there's nothing, and they are probably right. Now, I want to bring in some reality to all of this. This is the same kind of crap that you would see articles about Bitcoin in the early days. People are, you got to understand, NFTs are brand new, and people, you got to compare it to other brand new assets. This happens to all of them. Remember Bitcoin's first bull run where it went crazy and then it just died? It just died, and it happened in the second one too. You know, these things take time to evolve, and you can kind of see what's going on right here. And they're saying, you know, the trading volume was $17 billion. Sure. But you know what? It's not over. If you actually look at these other articles and you actually look at what's going on, 69,000 of 73,000 NFTs, zero ETH. They're not worth anything. That's 95%, which is 5 collections, have value, number one. You know, 23 million people own NFTs, which is actually an incredible number. Again, when you look at it for the adoption, early adoption of a new kind of, I guess, asset class, it's a new asset class. It's not gonna do great overnight. It takes time. It takes years. Look at what's happening with Bitcoin. First bull run, I think it went to like $1,000 and it came down to like a couple $100, and then it came back up and it went to $20,000. It takes time. You know, so as you go through the article, you can see the data collected by Block shows that trading reached about $63 million last week. This is a far cry from the 360 million plus weekly volume saw in February. Yes, the volume is going down. There is less interest. You know, there's less interest. And they talked about Bored Ape Club because their NFTs are actually trading very good, and it's about 42,000. So I want to look at Bored Ape Club because it's really interesting. If you go to activity, I recommend you all do this if you're considering to buy NFTs. And this is actually incredibly good idea to do this, to look at this data. And I'm going to analyze something. Would you have been better off buying ETH, or would you have been better off buying Bored Ape Club NFTs back in the day? You know, because a lot of people, the reason they started buying NFTs was because they saw kind of ETH tap out around this $4,000 mark. If you look at ETH, I guess you got to go to the max. If you kind of look at ETH back during the bull run, which would have been right around here, if you look at this data right here, the reason people were buying NFTs was because ETH and BTC had hit these high numbers, the all-time highs, and people wanted a way to get more ETH or more Bitcoin. This is how you have to look at it. All these are different asset classes in order for you to make more money, but how you treat them is going to dictate how you make money, how you understand them. Actually, how you get educated on them is how you make money. Now, if you look at this looks absolutely horrific. You got to understand, when it was at all-time highs, 120 ETH, and I believe it, it went all the way to like 100, holy cow, how many ETH? 150, let's call it 158 ETH. Wow. This was when ETH was like $3,500. So even 150 ETH times $3,500, that means each of these was worth about $500,000, if you can believe it. Even at 120 ETH, which was the lower number, you would have been looking at $420,000 per each of these NFTs. Now you can see what they're going for. You know, you can kind of see 39,000, 43,000, 42,000. You know, these are the sales, not necessarily what people are listing them for. And then you can kind of see what the floor price is. Best offer is 23.7 ETH, which is, I think, around that $39,000 mark. What is that? 20? Oh, no, actually even lower. Yeah, about 39,000. About 38, maybe, so 39 or so. So you can kind of get an idea what's happening in the market. Now, what you're kind of seeing is the volume is still there, but it's not as strong as before. You're seeing days where the volume is picking up, but it looks like people are selling into it. You get some low volume days. Now, this is the biggest problem with NFTs that I have. I didn't buy NFTs during the bull run for a major reason. First, I don't really fully understand it. Number one, I mean, I understand it, but I have some problems with it. Number one, there is no liquidity pool. If you want to get out of an NFT, you have to find another person out there that wants it and bids on it. To me, I just never liked that concept. I think they can fix NFTs. And I think the way they can fix it is what they do with tokens, where there's a liquidity pool. However, NFTs have a clear advantage over tokens, where if, let's say, a project raises 5 million, they get to keep the whole 5 million. While in a project, if they raise 5 million, usually they put 1 or 2 million or maybe even more into a liquidity pool. So they don't get to keep all the money. So these are the problems that you kind of see, the give and take from both. But I think liquidity pools could be really interesting for these particular projects. And I think that's something that could fix NFTs, where we don't say, oh, all of them are worthless. Well, they can always sell into a liquidity pool, would make it value and also create more value long term. Now, there are more creative types of NFTs coming out in the future, and there's a lot of great projects based on NFTs and based on pretty incredible utility that are coming out. So we got to consider this. And also, this volume that they're saying, this $63 million last week, is actually probably low, because a lot of people actually trade NFTs on Discord or boards or different like Telegram groups, and they trade them one-on-one with each other. And a lot of different projects do this. I've seen a lot of projects do this. Hey, I want an NFT. Anybody got one? And they hook up and they do it. And somebody might be the intermediary in the Discord or in the Telegram or in the Twitter. Who knows? So these are things you got to keep in mind. So this is the good thing about NFTs, and also kind of the bad thing about NFTs. Now, is Bored Ape Club going to continue to go down? Well, it's not looking great, but let's say you would have bought it around here. And I looked at this. If you would have bought this around 50 ETH in August, where would this have been? Sorry. Yeah, August 21. It's actually really interesting. If you go back to August 21, if you look at the price of it, of ETH, you're looking around about $3,200, right? Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This is where NFTs could have been really powerful for some people, because the reason I didn't buy NFTs is like, do I want to give up 50 ETH during that time period? It's $150,000. Do I want to give up 50 ETH? Well, no, I didn't, because I was like, my 50 ETH could be worth more as ETH than as a Bored Yacht Club NFT, right? It could have been, it could be worth more. So I never bought it, because I was like, I'd rather hold on to my ETH, right? Well, look what happened. Over a period of time, it went over to 150 and even 100 ETH. And if you look back here, even if you look at this one, not necessarily the all-time high, 120 ETH, where it reached, which was, let's look at the date real quick. This was January 30th. So if you look at January 30th, you're looking at about a price of, a little bit lower, about, let's say $2,700. So $2,700 times 120. So $324,000 versus they would have paid $175,000. So they would have made a great profit in a bull market where you couldn't have made that kind of money off of ETH. You would have basically doubled the number of ETH, over doubled the number of ETH that you had, and you would have basically made a huge profit, doubled your money basically on this. So, this is where NFTs kind of took, and, like if you're ETH maxi or BNB maxi or BTC maxi, whatever maxi you are, they kind of took it to the next level. If you knew and you were good trading and you understood it and you got out in time. Now, there's a lot of NFTs you couldn't get out in time. My buddies bought 50,000. I have one buddy who bought $50,000 of this NFT called Bears Deluxe. And I have another buddy, actually his boss, who bought $500,000 worth of this. And both of them are sitting piss poor and they're completely fucked. They paid about an average of between $5,000 and $8,000 for each of these right now. Yes, that is the price, guys. 0.0689 times 1,600. Okay, they're worth about $100, $110. So imagine paying $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $5,000 for something that's worth $100. Yes, absolutely fucked, right? And this is the problem. There's no liquidity pool. So this kind of shit can happen where an NFT is valued this highly. And, back here, you're paying 2.8 ETH. This is when ETH was like $3,000. Paying like $8,000, $9,000 for each of these. And then within a few months, the volume's gone. There's no volume on this thing. It's gone. Is there any volume? Sales 5? That means $500 a day. The volume's gone. This thing is trash. It's garbage. It's done. It's over with. It's oh my god, it's even cheaper than $100. 83. This is what it's selling for. 40, 49. Yeah. So his boss, who spent $500,000 on this collection, and how did he fall for it? He's an experienced investor. Well, they fell for the hype of NFTs. There are some great things with NFTs coming out. For example, there's this NFTs you can buy that also gives you the shoe or access to stuff and gives you great utility, and NFTs that pay out based on passive income on some stuff. There's so many different things that are doing with NFTs, but however, these kind of projects constantly failed, which was they were going to create passive income with the money they raised. They're going to create these games, but do you really want to have this fucking bear in a game? Like, who's going to play it? Nobody's going to play it. It's exactly what happened. And this bear, you got X amount of bears, and you got some honey, and you got some bees, and X amount of, it's just fucking stupid. It's just fucking stupid. And I know in the next bull run, more of this shit's going to happen. And they're going to say, we're going to make these games. Nobody's playing these fucking games. Stop thinking people are playing these fucking games. Nobody's playing these games. Adults spend $8,000 on a bear or $5,000 on a bear aren't going to play these fucking games. You know who's going to play these games? Kids. And they don't have $5,000. Think about it. Just use logic. And that's why I never got into it, because my buddies are like, oh, we can play it in a game. I'm like, bro, I don't want to play your stupid fucking game. I don't want to play a game. Like, I'm going to spend $5,000. It's an investment. He's like, oh, you can put it on your on a screen and you can watch it. What the fuck? I can put it on a screen right now and watch this fucking garbage. Look at this garbage. It's so pixelated. You imagine putting this on a fucking screen? So this is where logic kind of, and the hype kind of removed itself. And you had a lot of celebrities like Snoop Dogg, and a lot of NFL players and billionaires get into the Bears Deluxe. And this is where you saw the hype happen, the hype train of the bull market. And then you just saw the end. And it's dead now. It's dead. And this is what they're talking about. And if you go to OpenSea, you can kind of see where the top ones are. And there's not a lot of top ones. If you look right now, you know, Bored Ape Club kind of dominates it. They got the Mutant Ape Club, you got the Bored Ape Club, they got 2, and then you got the Bored Ape Kennel. You got 3 of the top 10 being from the same company, because that company has a lot of money, number one, but they also built out a whole ecosystem. They have their own token. They have, you know, they have the ape token. They have a whole ecosystem. You know, it gives you access to stuff, and I'm sure they're going to add more utility over time. So this is where this particular token, I mean, this particular NFT is probably going to be a safer bet than a new one that's coming out. And you got CryptoPunks, which is well known. You know, you got some other ones here that are well known, but all the new ones coming out in the next bull run, you know, I hope everyone's learned their lesson, but they probably haven't, because it's the same thing as what happened to Bitcoin and Ethereum when the first bull run hit. They went crazy, they crashed, they kind of nothing happened, and the next one came and they went back up. Same thing is going to happen here. They're claiming it's dead. This article over at Rolling Stone saying they're dead. No, trust me, they're far from dead. They are not dead. They're in hibernation is what's going on. Once the market comes back, once Bitcoin goes past 50, 60,000, this will come alive. Why? Because people are looking at Bitcoin going, well, it's already made its run. I got to find the next alternative investment. And as we've seen in Bored Ape Club, even the other ones, if you look, they were actually better investments than Bitcoin and Ethereum during the bull market. Because what happens during the tops? People are trying to find other ways to get more Bitcoin or more Ethereum or more BNB or whatever token is blasting off. And as it so happens, this was a great token. This was a great investment. This was actually a great investment at that period of time. This was a fabulous investment. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. This was an absolute wonderful investment during that period of time. Maybe not now, but at that time, it was a fantastic investment. And, you know, I have no doubts that, you know, and when you buy Bored Ape Club, like I said, I'm not big into NFTs. I think it's still crazy to spend $40,000 on an NFT. But, you know, these top funds are getting money to invest in different projects. And let me tell you something. Bored Ape Club, as it maybe is a little bit lower, you might see some of these top funds start buying this stuff because it's been around. It's the Bitcoin of NFTs. It's not going anywhere. It might never reach those highs it reached. Maybe one day. I mean, I think $500,000 for one of those is insane. It's absolutely insane. And this is the cheaper version of it. I don't know if it's ever going to get back to 500,000. I could be wrong. It might. And this is the cheaper version of it, which was the, what is it called? Mutant Ape Club. I mean, I had buddies that were trying to get in day one, and they were right. They still made a profit, but they paid more for ETH back here. ETH was much more expensive. 4.6 ETH was worth a lot more than it is, down here, for example. And you can kind of see the price of where it went. I mean, at one point it was worth 38 ETH. I mean, this is a huge gain. These are huge gains. And now you're all the way back to basically all-time lows. It's probably going to go back to all-time lows and go even below it. That's just a reality of these. That's just what it is. Does that mean the market's dead? Does it mean it's over with? No, absolutely not. This is a huge company. The lab, Yuga Labs, that makes this. They're huge. Yuga Lab, sorry, that makes this is huge. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of funding. They are going to add utility. They're going to add other. It's part of our ecosystem. They're going to continue to do stuff. Very few NFTs can do this, by the way. Very few. Plus, they're earning 2.5% on all of these trades. That means they're making money. That means they can reinvest the money. That means something great can happen during the next bull run. These are the type of NFTs that are probably going to do great in the next bull run. Everything else is going to be just speculation, and you should probably dump the fuck out of it in the next bull run if you buy some bullshit NFT, because it's just going to pump up, and get out of it because there might not be anyone there to grab it from you when you want. Don't look at these as a long-term play. These are fast flips, in my opinion. When you're in the NFT market, you got to get in and out. I got a buddy who put over $1 million, another one who put over $1 million, maybe $2 million in NFTs, including the ones that Nike makes, where you get the shoes and all this crap included in your products. And there are NFT maxis. Let me tell you, they're all wrecked because most NFTs aren't going to make it. And I believe that's just the beginning of a market cycle. It's the market cycle. The next market cycle, things will change, and some of these NFTs will come back. Some won't, but market leaders should make a comeback. Will I be looking to buy NFTs? Not right now, because I believe that Ethereum is priced very low. I think Ethereum could double or triple from where it is. Where I might consider buying NFTs is, or well, actually even more, could go 5 or 6x, even more. Where I might consider buying some NFTs is maximizing my Ethereum at that point. Then I know, like you saw with Bored Ape Club, if I get into one of these near where, let's say, ETH is near its max again, let's say it gets to 10,000, then maybe that might be the place to enter these, at a good price. But we'll see. It's hard to tell. It's a new market. It's far from dead, though. Anyway, guys, I hope that sheds some light. I'm just seeing way too much negativity about something that's new. There really shouldn't be. It reminds me of Bitcoin in the early days. Everyone calling it a scam and crap. It's going to go to zero. It's going to go to zero. It's going to go to zero every day, every day, every day. Zero, 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 zero. Bitcoin keeps going higher. Every year, more adoption, more people. NFTs aren't going to zero. Yes, some of them did, just like a lot of tokens and altcoins did. Yes, back in 2015, 16, 17, 18, every year, a lot of them went to zero. But Bitcoin did not. Ethereum did not. BNB did not. They kept going. It's the same thing with the NFTs. A lot of them will go to zero, and there'll be a couple that won't. That will shine. And I think that's how you have to look at everything, including the stocks, including NFTs, including crypto. There's the good stuff at the top, and then there's all the shit at the bottom. Just don't buy the shit at the bottom. You should be fine. Anyway, guys, hope that was helpful. Talk to you.